Hello! So, welcome to Season 2 in the War Within. So, I had a bit of a mixed bag last week, which was the first week of the new season. So, I had done a Mythic Plus, so I would get a key after the season went live, and had intended to just work off my key. So if you didn't see the preparation that I did in the last couple videos, so the last vault of season 1, I mainly just did to try to upgrade some gear and just get as prepared as possible for season 2. So what I was thinking was just using my keystone and just trying to put groups together myself as augmentation. Since I've played preservation for most every season that I've done this, I've just kind of swapped between the two. Augmentation does seem a bit easier at higher in higher keys, so and just see how far I could get just doing that. Just try to do something different for a season, because I do like augmentation. I just don't get a chance to play it that often. And it's really somewhat of a group spec. You can use it. I do use it when I go to the Siren Isles to do the various things there, but it really is more of a group spec. So so I attempted to do that, and as you see here, I did the Mechagon workshop and went overtime by quite a bit. And then unfortunately I got Operation Floodgate, which is the new dungeon that they introduced with Season 2, and that seemed to halt my progress. I ran it once as a heroic just so I could see it and kind of get an idea of the bosses and everything, and for the most part people seemed like they knew what they were doing, but just not enough. There just wasn't enough familiarity among random people when you're trying to put a group together to do it. So groups kept falling apart, and I kept going back running heroic to try to get some gear and work on my vault in between kind of running the keystone. So if that continues, I may have to adjust my approach for this season. That being said, I did want to mention, so I made, as preparation, I made a video of me cooking for the first time in the War Within, and ended up making a bunch of food, and the hardy food, it will persist through death. Now, what I was concerned about was it said this only lasted for 15 minutes. That is not true. It actually lasts for an hour, which is rather nice. So I will be making more food as the season progresses, because I like having this very much. How much of a difference it's making, I don't know. It seems like at 6:17, I have swapped out a few different things, but for the most part I've been around 6, I think 6:15, 6:16, somewhere around there. I definitely have not been 6:21. That has been a newer increase with Season 2. It seems like I've mostly been where I should be. I've been doing perfectly fine, so I think it was just a lack of understanding the new dungeon, and it does seem, the difficulty does seem to be quite I would argue a bit overtuned, because Heroic is, which I understand it is intended for you to get gear, is quite a bit of a face roll compared to just a +2 version of Floodgate. So, yeah, and the first boss on Mechagon Workshop was what slowed us down. I was thinking Junkyard, because Junkyard was the one we did the last Mythic round, that one of these dungeons were in there. I don't know why it said Workshop. I just had Junkyard in mind, so I kind of wasn't thinking about this one. And then the first boss, just we wiped several times, and it just took a bunch of time. So, and then the last boss we wiped as well, because for some reason every time a DPS died, the tank insisted on having everyone wipe and starting over again. So, which has been a rarity. So apparently, since I was a augmentation, they needed all 3 DPS life. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I've never seen a group that went through that again. It was a +2, but that also took time. So again, if I keep running into that as well, may have to adjust my approach for how I do this a bit. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is I've been doing Undermine dailies. Well, weeklies. I don't know why they're called dailies. They're actually weeklies. But you do get Valor Stones and Crest and all of that for not much effort. So since these are weekly, I've just went and been doing those. So I actually have quite a bit of things to work with here this time. So yeah, so I've actually been liking this patch quite a bit. So it's been a while since I've wanted to play a current patch quite this much. So we will see what the vault is. There will be 4 rewards, 2 world, 2 world rewards at 623, a 632, and a 649. I want to say from the +2. I'm going to do this on, yeah, I'm going to put it on current. So, since I'm not sure which spec I'm actually going to be playing this season. So, needless to say, everything will be an upgrade. So we got 2 weapons. I've had this staff before. You haven't collected disappearance. Yes, I have. Unless it's the heroic version, I don't have. A trinket and wrist. I am not getting rid of that egg. I swear I'm holding on to that egg as long as I can. So, I'm almost inclined to go with the staff. Yeah. So, I figured out, I did want to see. Let's go to staffs. Okay, this is too far back. Okay, maybe it's the... Okay, so I have the gold one and the silver one's the one I don't have. Yeah, so I kind of figured out some of the stats for augmentation. At least have a bit of a better idea. Harmful spells and abilities have a chance to drain targets. Dealing nature damage. If the target dies, will be drained. You gain speed. So I don't think that's terribly useful. One hand. Yeah, weapons have been kind of an issue, so this would give me a really good weapon. It's an on-use effect. Haste is good for preservation. Mastery is good for augmentation. So, even though it's not the highest, I think I'm going to go with this. I think that would be the best I could do for the moment. Okay. So, as I said, I figured out some of the stats for augmentation, so I wasn't entirely sure kind of what to prioritize, and I think what I'm going to try to do is critical strike and versatility, because I have some other gear as well. So I swapped out, so I had the set from the anniversary event. Kind of upgraded a little bit, but it wasn't great. This is just an explorer, that's just an adventurer, this is a veteran, so that would be better. So I swapped out for a different main hand and offhand, and when I did that, it changed my stats around, and I ended up with more critical strike and versatility. So, by comparison here, let me see, what was it with these? So it was about the same, actually. Actually, it was more versatility. Maybe it was just having higher level weapons. That could very easily be part of it. Oh, hold on. I'm also not wearing my ring. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So this seemed to greatly increase just everything. So mastery only grants one ally casting an empowered spell, so that would be Fire Breath and Upheaval, which both have about 30-second cooldowns. Well, actually Upheaval's more closer to 40, so 30 to 40 seconds. And that is different from what Ebon Might does, which increases for allies primary stat by 5% of your own and causes you to deal 20% more damage for 11 seconds. So there you go. So I'm not entirely sure if I want how much I want to prioritize mastery. I mean, it's going to be good regardless, because versatility is just, in general, a pretty good stat. So if we were to take these off and equip that, there we go. So I am 620, 18, versatility, mastery, haste, very good. So I think that is pretty good. Also with the leech, I also figured something out with the food. Before I forget. So if we look in here, where is it? There you go. So your leech is increased by 2%. So I was afraid, if you read what it says, gain your lowest secondary stat for 15 minutes. So I was thinking, oh no, I was thinking it would be haste, because haste normally is my lowest stat. It seems to ignore leech and does in fact work for haste. So, found that interesting. So, just wanted to mention that in case you didn't know that, because a lot of talents I'm noticing now have some sort of 1%, 2% increase in a stat. So, or it's 2% and you can add a secondary point, get 4% or 3%, 6%, what have you. So, I do have some actual stuff that is maybe worth equipping. The problem is I will be breaking my tier set. So I don't know if, since I didn't fully upgrade this, if it's just worth going ahead and swapping pieces out, because these goggles are really good. And, you know, being that I'm an engineer, I do like my goggles. That would be 20. Oh, now haste is pulling ahead. See, that's critical strike. Haste. That was versatility and mastery. I'm thinking this ring. So we have stopped getting upgrades for our Siren Isles ring. So I don't know if this is just the highest it will ever be. I have no idea. I'm still doing some of the dailies out there to get some of the rewards. But yeah, there have been no upgrades for this for quite some time. At least a month or more now, I would say. I'm thinking, I don't know, the ring though deals quite a bit of damage. Yeah, and I really do hate to get rid of this egg, because since I'm playing augmentation, I do still use it quite a bit, either to help the healer with the tank, or to keep myself alive, or something else. So the back I think I can safely swap out. It's not part of a tier set. It is just a regular back piece. It swaps out versatility for mastery, which I think at this point, so the mastery will increase one ally's versatility, or if I swap it out for versatility, it increases mine. So kind of, I think 6 of 1. Yeah. Increases your 4 nearest allies' primary stat by 5% of your own. Okay. Yes, I feel pretty good about that. And then I need to make a gem. Having trouble farming the ore I need to make a haste gem. So, might hold off on that. But it is versatility and mastery, so I mean we are sticking somewhat. No. 5, 6. Oh, that had mastery. I was like, wait a minute, it was higher a minute ago. No, maybe it wasn't. It was 6%. Okay. Why? I thought it was at 11. Why did I think it was at 11? Okay. So besides those, I do have some adventurer gear, which I wasn't exactly excited about, but it is higher, or I can upgrade it higher than my... Okay, so I'm gonna sell the ring, because I already have this other ring, so I don't need an adventurer level ring. Yeah, I just need 4 pieces, so I could theoretically swap one out. The gloves were an even trade, so I could probably upgrade those. And keep my stats roughly at the same. Critical strike and haste, I mean, they're going to be good for both specs, whether I stay augmentation or I switch to...
what brings you here?
Switch to preservation. Switch back to preservation.
It is a world of wonders.
So, upgrade a piece of equipment. Okay.
Honored to meet you.
I can do that. Let's upgrade this, because I have a ton of Valor Stones for a change. That would be... Oh, actually, let's see what the... Okay, so I can go to A6. Okay. So if we're going to do this, let's just go ahead and upgrade this to 8 of 8. Here we go. Okay. And can I upgrade this? I can. Which is somewhat very strange.
May you find what you seek.
How fare you? Be bold. Be true.
This will unlock the ability
Farewell.
to
In
swap
unity,
around
find strength.
this.
May we all find what we seek. Until...
Okay, so now do this, and do this. There we go. And where does that leave us? So, okay. So
How fare you?
Can I upgrade? Hypothetically, if I were to swap that out. Okay, I'm not going to use the ring until I can put a socket in it. Put a gem in it. Because it'll be a plus 159 haste. I think that's the best one I can make. So we'll wait on that. Does 30% increase damage? It increases damage if you're next to eruption. Okay. But I feel like 139 should probably be equipped. Eva might increase his primary stats by an additional 0.4%. By 2 seconds remaining. 2 seconds it remains active. Up to 2%. Okay. So that is mastery and versatility for critical strike and haste. So we're not shifting things around too much. I'm getting a lot more haste though, which will be interesting to see how that works. So okay, so now I have in an ironic twist, I have the crest. I don't have enough Valor Stones. So, might wait on the weapon too, just to see that that's the one I want to stick with, see what we can do, so we can upgrade that. Haste and versatility is good for both specs. Let's do that. Okay. And I think I'm pretty much out of everything for this week, so. And I don't think equipping this blue gear will help very much. So, yeah. So there you go.
Good health to you.
Made quite a bit of an upgrade. So, going to tentatively try to keep critical strike and versatility my primary. Unless I can see how much haste does. I haven't actually had a bunch of haste for augmentation. It goes down quite a bit when I switch from preservation. As stats sometimes do. For some reason between specs. So, still not sure about mastery. Just because it affects one ally. Granted, it does work with two because I usually use Ebon Might. So I kind of started using a different rotation. So I will use Ebon Might, Fire Breath, Upheaval, and then spam Eruption until I either run out of Essence or Living Flame procs. And then I'll keep using Living Flame until I can either run through the rotation again or Eruption procs. And that seems to be working well. That seems to keep everything in use. So, because Upheaval and Eruption keep add time to Ebon Might. So, it is kind of important that you use both of them each time. Okay. I'm gonna open the vault on my Druid as well, which has been the other character I've been mainly playing. So I've been doing mostly Undermine and Delves on this character. I've been doing at least one Delve a week to get the quest. I learned my lesson from Season 1, so I'm going to do Delves as more of a passive thing this time around. So just do, for right now at least, one a week to get the quest, to get the experience, and then just kind of go from there, see how the season progresses. So I will have 2 rewards from the world tier. Which should both be an upgrade in one form or another. Your harmful abilities have a chance to power the amplifier, randomly increasing either your highest stat or your lowest. Interesting. But I don't think I need a trinket. This, on the other hand, is a new tier piece, which is an upgrade of what I already have, so I think I'm just going to go with that. Why wouldn't I? Okay, now let's see what we can upgrade. I've had 2. I've upgraded one thing already just because I was close to the cap. Was actually at the cap. I did already upgrade the boots. Yes. So let's go ahead and equip the new gloves. So that's exciting. Puts me at 609. So I do actually have quite a bit of gear to kind of look at here. So there's some adventure stuff. There's some epic stuff. So yeah. Is it worth? so now I'm not entirely sure what to do here. Because, okay, so I can't use any of that, so it's mainly right in here. So, is this neck piece an upgrade? Versatility. See, now that has leech. So, not as persistent. Persistence the word, or that in a hurry to swap out the gear on this character, because I can do everything and undermine. I can take everything perfectly fine the way my stats are now. So I'll put this back on there so you can see. So yeah. So 22 critical strike works perfectly fine for my talent that allows me to use regrowth in bear form. So that's kind of my primary heal. Well, actually, I've kind of started using multiple things to heal, but for the most part, that is the primary one, the go-to one that I use first. Mastery around 10% seems to be, at least has started to make a noticeable difference. Haste seems fine. Versatility seems fine. I mean, I know I could improve these. That is an even exchange, though, so I will swap out the hands. So that is more haste and more versatility. That is 642. So I feel like we should probably swap that out. So I changed haste and mastery. Okay. For critical strike and versatility. Okay. So probably fine with that. And then have I lost my tier set yet? No. But we are getting dangerously close. Yeah, but I could probably get haste and mastery back if I equip the back piece. So the head is my only tier piece I have left. Yeah, I'm not going to get rid of my tier set just yet. But everything does seem... What did it? Thrash, Windfire, increases your damage done, reduces damage taken. Arcane damage you deal is increased by 5%. Bleed damage is increased by 5%. Okay. So, until I see how much of a difference that makes. Because if I need to go back to my tier set, I'll just wear my tier set for a while until I'm done grinding rep in the Undermine. I was debating on if it was worth... I'm keeping the reinforced wax plating because it reinforces your armor, granting damage reduction. This other trinket, though, the Wildfire Wick, I wasn't so hung up on. What would I buy? That would take my critical strike down to 21. I really want to keep it at 20, above 22, so I might wait. And this is adventurer gear, so mastery and versatility. What could I swap out? I swap this out. Yeah, see, that's the problem when you get your stats roughly where you want them. Keeping them there. I kind of do miss reforging. If I'm being honest. So I think for the moment, so I swapped out a back piece, which is fine. Swapped out the chest, which I feel like kind of have to at that level. So, and the legs. I might... Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Since the legs aren't a huge... Well, kind of. I would be losing way more than I would be gaining. Might switch the legs back in if it seems like I'm struggling with damage. So let's see here. So this is purple. Let's just go ahead and upgrade that. Well, let me see here. So, or what am I starting with? So this is what I'm starting with. Just so you have a rough idea. So let's go ahead, haste and mastery. Is it worth this? Is explorer weapon? It's the worst kind you can upgrade. I'm not even going to bother, so we'll just go ahead and upgrade the back. I think that's probably fine. And 620. No, 640. There we go. Can I upgrade the tier piece? Because I'll probably have the tier piece for a while. Not as much as I'd like. What am I missing? I am missing crest. Okay. So we'll just hold off and try to upgrade those pieces when we can. I'm not going to upgrade the legs just on the off chance I get another piece. I don't want to waste the... I don't want to waste the Valor or the Crest. Because I got the other tier set quite quickly, so... Yeah, so I think that's probably going to do it for
Farewell.
this character for the moment. My stats are still pretty much where I want them. Critical Strike is fine. Critical Strike's actually higher than what I feel like I needed. I just need 22%, so 23 may be overkill. I would like Mastery to be a little higher. I don't want it to drop below 10%. Avoidance, I could kind of take it or leave it. Leech is okay. So, yeah, dodge is pretty good though as far as helping as like a damage mitigator. So, yeah. So there you go. Those were my first vaults of Season 2 in the War Within.